From Church Militant Studios, this is the Church Militant Evening News.
Hello and thank you for joining us this Monday, February 20th. I'm James Fedua, along with Hunter Bradford, here with Catholic News and Context. Tonight, how are dioceses dealing with a flood of sex abuse claims? The K.A. Williams saga continues, and yes, it gets even more shocking. And a Nicaraguan monk is freed from the shackles only to be behind bars again in Italy. Leading us off tonight, earlier today, an arrest was made in this weekend's shooting death of an auxiliary bishop in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Authorities found 69-year-old Bishop David O'Connell fatally shot in his Hacienda Heights home on Saturday around 1 p.m.
He had a wonderful sense of humor and a beautiful devotion to Mary, our Blessed Mother. We all will miss him very much. May he rest in peace.
In 2020, during the so-called pandemic, O'Connell blessed the lands of Southern California from a hilltop in San Jose Hills with the Most Blessed Sacrament. According to an LA Times report, this suspect is, quote, a man tied to a woman with access to the bishop's house. And of course, eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord.
Attacks against Catholics and Catholic churches are ratcheting up. On Sunday, an 18-inch pipe bomb was discovered behind St. Dominic Catholic Church in Philadelphia. This after the fatal shooting of Auxiliary Bishop David O'Connell on Saturday on the other side of the country in Los Angeles. A passerby found the bomb behind the church near railroad tracks in the Holmesburg neighborhood of the northeast part of the city. Police shut down the area while the bomb squad safely took the pipe bomb out of harm's way. Over 400 acts of hostility against U.S. churches were reported between January 2018 and September 2022, according to the Family Research Council. 11 of these incidents were bomb threats.
As clerical sex abuse continues coming to light throughout the U.S., more dioceses are filing for bankruptcy. In tonight's in-depth report, Church Militant's Nick Wiley discusses the next possible additions to the list of Chapter 11 filings.
We owe a duty to survivors, period. So, but the fact is that we only have so many resources. It's really just a matter of transparency. We just want people to know what the situation is.
As sex abuse lawsuits continue to pile on, 2 California dioceses are strongly considering filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Cardinal Robert McElroy's Diocese of San Diego recently announced the possibility, while in December, Bishop Robert Vacha's Santa Rosa Diocese announced it could file by March 1st.
A lot of archdioceses, before they file bankruptcy, they make moves. They shift assets, they recategorize assets in ways that shrink the pot of money that's available to victims.
Invoking Chapter 11 has become one of the hallmarks of morally bankrupt dioceses, and assets are not the only thing that's being hidden.
And they did this, in our view, and based on our experience, is to stop us, the attorneys and the survivors working with them, from excavating all the secrets they have kept that have been so reckless for so long.
Once bankruptcy is filed, gaining access to potentially incriminating diocesan files becomes impossible.
Pursuing a Chapter 11 reorganization not only makes sense, but is the most responsible path.
In 2004, the Archdiocese of Portland was the first to exploit the legal maneuver. To date, 26 dioceses have undergone Chapter 11 proceedings. 10 are still in the process, while the other 16 have completed it. Currently in the process are the dioceses of Agana in Guam, Buffalo, Camden, New Orleans, Norwich, Rochester, Rockville Center, San Juan in Puerto Rico, Santa Fe, and Syracuse. Those completing it include Portland, Davenport, Duluth, Fairbanks, Gallup, Great Falls Billings, Harrisburg, Helena, Milwaukee, New Ulm, San Diego, St. Paul, Minnesota, Spokane, Stockton, Tucson, Wilmington, and Winona, Rochester.
The secrecy continues. Where is the transparency? You take away their robes, take away their religion. They're just criminals. They belong in jail.
And bishops aren't footing the bill, since it is the laity, through their tithing and almsgiving, who bear the financial burden.
These people should be prosecuted, and then they should pay for what they owe. Filing bankruptcy is like a criminal act. It's almost admitting guilt to me.
The real reason bishops file bankruptcy is because they have something to hide, and it's not just money. Nick Wiley, Church Militant Evening News, Detroit.
The Diocese of San Diego attempted to file for bankruptcy in 2004, but after it lied about its assets, the case was dismissed.
An infamous Illinois prelate is criticizing the church's teaching on sin and the sacraments. Chicago Cardinal Blaise Supich released an article last week using quotes from Popes Francis and Benedict XVI to shill for a more accepting church. He wrote, "There are voices that insist the church must exclude sinners from fuller participation in the life of the church until they have reformed, out of respect for God's justice." Cardinal Supich blasts Catholics who guard sacraments from the unrepentant, claiming such action is based in, quote, cold and harsh logic.
In a recently published interview, a respected theologian, priest, and consultor to 2 Vatican offices is admitting the Vatican and the Church need serious change. On Saturday, top Vaticanista Edward Penton published an interview with Father Nicola Bouks. Father Bouks says that progressives and leftists inside the church are secularizing the bride of Christ, but the fix is returning to tradition, which will start from the top. Bouks says certainly half of the cardinal electors and many bishops are convinced we cannot go on this way, and change is needed to put the church in order if she is to remain Catholic. There is turmoil in the College of Cardinals, as there is among the priests. The ecclesial body is waking up from a state of anesthesia.
A bishop's concubine has assaulted a whistleblower priest in Mysore, South India. Sunitha H., the 5th mistress of Bishop K.A. William, led a mob of 30 to 40 locals and attacked Father Ronald Danthi on Thursday. The priest was assaulted twice, first outside the home for retired clergy and later in the premises of the new bishop's house. A video of this assault has gone viral. Father Danthi fell out with Bishop William when he opposed the prelate's plan to sell a plantation worth 1.3 billion rupees. Danthi is one of the 37 priests who petitioned Pope Francis with evidence and photographs of William's mistresses, children, bank accounts, kidnapping, assault, and embezzlement.
And here with more is Church Militant's Rome correspondent, Dr. Jules Gomez. Jules, great to see you. It is just shocking to me the popularity that K.A. William commands here. So my question is, did someone come to the rescue of this priest? Has he lodged a police complaint, get the authorities involved at all?
Good evening, James. Very sadly, most people standing by simply did not intervene. And Father Danthi tells me that there were administrators inside the bishop's house looking at what was going on. But the only person who came to the rescue, his rescue, was Father John Bosco, who he described as a good priest, but a priest who's, has been suffering from stammering and has been rather sickly over the past 3 years. But God uses the weak of this world to shame the strong, and Father John Bosco came to the rescue. Now, he was asked, rather persuaded, not to make a police complaint because the circle inspector suggested that he and Sunitha reach a compromise, and they signed a compromise agreement together. This is where things are at the moment.
Jules, of course, you were the one to break this story of K.A. Williams' leaked phone call with Cardinal Gracias. Does he, K.A. William, have the honor of being India's most scandal-plagued bishop? Because it seems pretty hard to beat if he isn't.
Well, it seems that Rome doesn't learn from history. Because in 2018, a similar case was building up. This is the story of Bishop Prasad Gallela, Bishop of the Diocese of Kadapa in Andhra Pradesh, who had a mistress and a 20-year-old son. So this was building up over years, 2 decades virtually. and priests and people were pleading with the Vatican to get rid of him. And this guy was siphoning off diocesan funds to, pay for the luxurious life he and his concubine were leading. Finally, in December 2018, Pope Francis accepted Bishop Prasad's resignation. So Bishop William is not the first, but currently he's certainly the worst.
I'd imagine. Jules, like I said, you've been an absolute bulldog on this story. Thank you for your excellent reporting and for coming on and talking with us.
Thank you, James.
God bless.
All right, gentlemen, not all of the priests imprisoned by Nicaragua's dictator President Daniel Ortega are innocent of crimes. Franciscan friar Brother Cosimo Damiano Muratori was arrested as soon as he arrived at an Italian airport on February 15th, last Wednesday. He flew there after being expelled from Nicaragua for calling Bishop Orlando Alvarez's prison sentence an historic action. Back in 2009, Brother Muratori was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for committing sexual violence. That is to say, the Order of Friars Minor allowed him to stay in active ministry despite him committing sexual assault. When we come back, they call it Catholic Spain. Well, find out why it's not so Catholic anymore. And Dominion voting systems say their feelings are hurt, but the dirt they have is eye-opening. Stay tuned, all that more up next.
Thank you for watching the first half of Church Militant Evening News.
If you would like to watch the rest of today's episode, please click the link in the description, and we'll see you at churchmilitant.com. God love you.